Yeah. Exactly. Exactly. That's called a native format. Okay. So here we go. You may not be able to see it too well in the audience, but this picture has a terrible green color cast to it, okay? And this is what happens when you print. Color, when you print the color inks on your printer, okay? Now I don't have the original to see the original, but I guarantee you that if you try to print this and you tell your printer, just print with the black ink only, you will not have this green cast. However, that doesn't really deal with the fact that I scanned it in as color. Because if you scan this in as a color file like I did, you will have a color cast. Okay, because it's just inevitable. It may go towards red, it may go towards green, maybe yellow, okay? So in that case, after you've scanned it, and notice up here, it's next to the file name, it says RGB. This has all the detail that I think I could get with this scan. Now, there's a couple ways to convert this, or not so convert it, but to make it look like a real black and white, like what you were talking about. We can do a couple things. First thing, we can simply desaturate it. So watch this. Image, adjust, and hue and saturation. And a little box comes up, and there's a slider here called saturation. Slide it all the way to the left. Okay? Hit OK, and watch, let's see if we can see this on screen. Here's before, after. Here's before. Look, you can see it in the skirt. Okay? That's a much better grayscale. Now, I know some of you who are savvy in Photoshop saw me do something like, why didn't you do that in layers, Eric? Why didn't you do that in an adjustment layer? I just want to, for the sake of, getting everybody on board, I don't want to get too complicated with layers right now. Okay, so we have your picture scanned in, and we dealt with that. I know there's some other issues, but I want to get to some other of the students. So thank you, sir. And watch your step there. Come around this way. Thank you. Okay. Now I'm going to save this. Why am I going to save it? I didn't do anything to it. I'm not going to save whatever I did to it. Okay. Now the scanner saved it for me when it scanned it in. Okay, now we have your Joan. Joan's helpful companion is going to come up here.
Her hubby.
Yeah. And we're going to talk about this picture here. Go ahead and take a seat. Okay? Why don't you tell us a little bit about this picture?
This picture was taken in 1929 of a wedding of Joan's parents. This is her father, this is her mother, and there's cousins and aunts and uncles there.
So what's wrong with this picture?
Well, we would like to make copies of this picture for the numerous cousins. And we put the picture through our flatbed scanner just like this, and we got a mess. First of all, the picture is embossed. The paper the picture is printed on is embossed. It's got a texture to it. And this created what's called a moire pattern in the scanning process.
Yep.
A series of bands going across the picture.
Well, we're going to see it.
Yep.
Yeah.
And the other element is that old prints used silver in the paper. And the silver has come up to the surface and has formed a reflective surface in some, I think it's in the darker shades. And so if you
it's in the shadow areas.
Yeah.
Yep.
if you want to take a simple snapshot of it, it's like photographing a piece of chrome. And so these are the two problems that messed up any scan.
Okay, so let's scan this in a couple pieces. Now, when you have an oversized image, there's two ways that you can get it into your computer. Now, if you're doing a presentation at the Polish Genealogical Society, you got to do it of the first one. And the first one is you scan it in pieces. Okay? So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to get this first piece right here. And scan. Now, the texture you're describing, is a real bumpy, fine texture to it. And what's real nice about the texture on the prints is if someone handles it with their fingers, ungloved fingers, or their chicken greased paws, however you want to put it, the prints don't show up as easily as they would if you had a glossy. So this picture was not framed, or it was framed inside this cardboard frame. Typically, if you're going to frame a photograph, you should frame a glossy photograph. It shouldn't have any type of matte appearance to it. But if you're going to have a picture that people are going to handle, a print that people are going to handle, that kind of texture is neat. But again, it doesn't look so nice when you scan it, and we'll see. So let me get the other side here. Sorry, I popped it out of some of the corners, but it's okay. We'll put it right back. Yes.
I have some of those old studio things at home where the framing around the picture is fairly thick. And when I lay it on the scanner, the picture is away from the scanner screen by a fair amount. Yeah.
So what do you do when you have a picture and the frame is kind of like this, a thick cardboard frame? Yeah. And
but it's glued in there, and I don't want to mess with it.
Yeah. Boy, that's tough. When you have a frame or something that pushes the print slightly off of the glass, it can be a problem. Have you tried putting some phone books and whatnot?
On top of the thing and tried to push it down, which helped some.
It did help some, yeah. Don't sit on it. Don't sit on it. I have thought of sitting on the scanner at times, but said, nah, this is just asking for trouble. But yeah, that's one other thing. Now, the other way you can get an oversized picture or a picture like that into your computer is to do a copy photograph of it. So you need a decent camera, and you need to probably shoot it under decent lighting without a flash. Usually outside in overcast lighting is the best bet, because the sun is a very powerful light source. Now, I just got two parts. And then what you do with that digital file is you, if you don't mind, I'm going to bend this back like this. Is that okay? I want to get their heads. Because that's an important detail. So once you shoot it, you shoot an overall of it. Then you try to get in close to the faces. And then you take the close-ups and select them or copy them in something like Photoshop and then paste that into the original so that you get the details in the eyes. The faces are so critical. Eyes are so critical. If everything can almost look out of focus, but when those eyes and those faces are out of focus, it just doesn't look right. Another thing you should note when I'm scanning is that I'm not doing any color corrections I'm not trying to fix the color. I'm not trying to get rid of